Hi boys and girls, it's Mrs. Crow. Welcome to our Monday writing lesson. I hope you had a good weekend. So you just got a chance to listen to a story called Puss in Boots. Puss in Boots is an animal tale, and we've been learning about what animal tales are. We learned about some different animal tales last week. Today you learned about another animal tale, The Three Little Pigs. And we've been learning that animal tales are special kinds of stories. So in Miss Morrison's reading lesson, you learned that in an animal tale, animal characters act like people. So what I want you to do right now is I want you to think about Puss, who is the main character in the story that you just listened to. I want you to think about, how did Puss act like a person? So think about that and come up with a few examples that you remember from the story, and we're going to talk about them. So, Puss in Boots. One of the ways Puss acts like a person is because he wears a special kind of clothes. He wears boots. And in some of the stories, not necessarily in this story, but some of the stories, Puss also wears a special hat. Sometimes you might see him with a special sword. So he wears clothes that you might find a person wearing, like boots or a hat, or like a soldier has a sword. The next thing is that he talks. I've never heard a cat talk before. I've only heard a cat meow. But in an animal tale, they talk. Next, he walks on two legs. I don't know any cat that walks on two legs, but in this story, Puss in Boots walks on two legs like a person does. Next, he tricks people. He's also known as, it's called a trickster, when you trick people, when you try to get them to do something that they might not want to do, or they might not even realize that they're doing. So he's a trickster, and he tricks a couple different people in our story. He tricks the ogre into changing himself into a mouse, when the ogre could change himself into anything that would scare the cat away. But instead, Puss tricks the ogre into changing himself into a mouse, because we know that in real life, cats like mice. He also tricks the king into inviting him into the castle and having dinner with him, because he's trying to get him to like him and his friend. They also trick the princess into falling in love with his master, which is the man that took care of him. The next thing that I just talked about is Puss is like a person because he ate at a table, and he ate food people would eat, and he put a bib around his neck so it wouldn't spill all over him like you might see somebody doing. The next thing is he has feelings, like he was happy, he was sad. He gave the princess a rose to tell her that he liked her or cared about her or was happy for her. So those are all feelings. Now, we don't really know if a cat has feelings because in real life they don't talk. But in animal tales, we know that they're very similar to people. And that's what makes it an animal tale. So for your work today, here's what you're going to do. You're going to write this sentence, and you're going to fill in what you would want to do if you were Puss in Boots. Now remember, it has to be something that a person would do. So it says, if I was Puss in Boots, I would blank. That's what this line means. And you have to use a word or a couple of words to say what you would do if you were Puss in Boots. What kind of thing would you do? I made an example for you, but I want you to use your own when you're doing your work. So if I was Puss in Boots, I would jump rope. Wait a minute, cats don't jump rope. People do. But when we're talking about animal tales, we want to make sure that we have the animal, so Puss, do something a human might do. So I want you to think about something fun that if you were Puss in Boots, you would do. And then you can draw a picture. Send it to your teacher in your Google Classroom. We have one more part. What I'd like you to do is I'd like you to go and do that work first, and then I'd like you to watch the next 2 videos because I have a challenge for you. It's a super fun challenge that you'll really enjoy. So make sure after you do your work and you send it to Google Classroom, you watch the next video and I'll tell you what the challenge is. See you soon.